Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and today I am back from Canada. I got back last Tuesday evening, and I think I'm finally over my jet lag. So that is awesome news because I hate not being a morning person. I like to wake up in the morning and feel like I'm ready to start my day. Last week, that was not the case, and on the weekend, I got my second Shingrix vaccine. It's a shingles vaccine that you can take for over 50. And if you're so inclined, I recommend it. It is a little, there's a reaction usually to this vaccine, but I have an aunt in Germany, and she is in her 80s, I believe, and she is dealing with shingles right now. And it is not a fun thing. I don't know if any of you have ever gone through that, but definitely don't want to get that one. I don't want to get it because I don't like pain. And so I went ahead and got it this weekend. So Sunday I was feeling a little blah, but I woke up on Monday morning and I was ready to go. So one day of blah and getting over jet lag, and I'm good to go. So yay! Good morning, everyone. So glad to see you here. So it's Casing Tuesday, and that's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. Now, if you want to take that card and recreate it exactly, go for it. I like to take the card and like switch things out and see how I can make it different while still being the same. So let's take a look at today's cards and see what we've got in store. So here is this card, and on first glance, I don't know about you, but I guess I'm a little bit nitpicky. I kind of like my layers to kind of hug things, and I feel kind of like this ornament is kind of right in the middle of a rectangular layer, like a kind of a more squarish type layer. I think would have made me a little bit more happy. But the good news is that I can take this card and give it a makeover and make it up more to my own liking. I do like the design of this card, the bones of this card. So let's take a look at the sketch that we created for this card. Oops, here we are. So this big rectangular layer in the center is kind of your focal point layer. And if you want to, you can ignore these two smaller layers. They are more specific to maybe the type of greeting or embellishment that you're going to put on the card. And then there are these background layers. And for mine, I kept mine all the same size. I did 1.5 by 4 inches and kept it simple. I also deleted the secondary, I guess, dark gray layer, the 5.25 by 4 inch layer, so I would have more room for everything. So if you want the exact dimensions that I'm going to use for my card, you can click over to my blog. The link will be down below in the description of this video. These are the dimensions taken directly from the card, and then you can fudge them a little bit. But if you follow close by, your card will look like the original, and that's kind of the fun part of this challenge. And the other fun part of this challenge is that you can join us over on our Casing Tuesday Facebook group. The link down below is also there for you if you want to join this group, and you can post your card on the challenge thread, and then we can all share our cards that we've made with the same sketch. It's kind of a fun deal that we can do that and share everything on social media. So I see some more of you have joined. I will definitely talk to you at the end. I really missed when I was doing my recorded videos not having any interaction at all. That kind of was not fun. So I'm glad that I have some of you here this morning. Okay, I am going to switch over to my other camera and we'll talk about the card that I made for you today. All right, here it is. Look at my little Arctic bear. Kind of nice. I was up in Canada, and now I am making a card. We've got polar bears in Canada, so it's kind of neat. Oh, and I have to tell you, I entitled this blog post, let me see, I think polar bears are easy to color. Yes, because you know what? You don't have to color this one. You can just stamp. The stamp already does all the shading for you. So this is a nice card or a nice bundle to get if you don't like to color, because you just stamp and go, and that's a nice thing about a white animal. And I really enjoyed making this card. It's kind of subtle and mute, and it's definitely like thinking of you. Oh, and on the inside, both of the greetings, there's a thank you greeting and a thinking of you greeting, and they both have kind of a pairing greeting that goes with it. So it's thinking of you. And then on the inside, it says, my heart is with you every step of the way. So I like that pairing. And the other pairing would be, here's the Arctic Bear stamp set. And it could be, thank you, 2 simple words filled with warmth and gratitude. So you could have thank you on the front and then put that on the inside. And then there's also you and me, which is cute if you want to stamp 2 of the bears together and kind of create like a you and me type image. So anyway, this is the Arctic Bears bundle, and if you buy the Arctic Bear stamp set and the polar bears dies together under the bundle item number, then you can save 10%. I also want to point out that the Arctic Bears bundle is one of the bundles that you can earn for free right now if you get the starter kit, and we only have a few more days to do that. September 30th is the last day to get that starter kit special, and this one would be a great one to get. I like this one because you can use it for your thank you and thinking of you cards, but you could also turn this bundle into, you could make your holiday cards with this bundle. So that's a nice little thing as well. You just would need to maybe pair it with a Christmas or a holiday greeting set, and then you could make kind of fun cards that are kind of, you know how they have like some holiday cards that are more like animal based, more nature based, and not really the symbolic images like Christmas trees and stockings and those kind of cards. You've got kind of your more sedate holiday cards. This one would be perfect for that. All right, I've done enough talking. Let's get to some stamping. And I've got a few things that I have die cut on this card, and I think there are 4 things. But first we need to stamp that polar bear, because that's going to be one of the things that we need to die cut. So we're going to take a piece of basic white and our basic gray stamp pad. And I've got the polar bear right here. I kind of tend to trim around my rubber stamps because I like to see the edges really clearly. You can do that if you want, and you don't have to do that, but it's what I do. So just give it a nice little tap on your gray ink pad. And then I'm just going to stamp it down and lift it off. And there is my cute little polar bear. And I think that's the only thing I need to stamp before we do some die cutting. So let's grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And let's roll this. I've got my handle over on the side. You can't really see it, but I'm cranking it over here on the side. And we've got a base platform, the thin die adapter, which is number 2. Then you'll need a number 3 plate. Actually, you'll need 2 number 3 plates, but we need one that goes down on the bottom. And then we need the polar bear. And then we need this one right here, the polar bear. And I'm just going to cut this one at a time because I really want to make sure that I get the polar bear die cut correctly. All right. You know, I always second guess myself when I get it. Okay, I think that is good enough. And then put the second plate on top carefully, put my thumb on so nothing shifts, and then roll this through. And there is my polar bear. I did not have to hand cut that at all. It is all cut out with a die. Yay! All right, we need to die cut 3 more things. So next we're going to die cut, we need a sunshine and we need the iceberg that the polar bear is going to sit on. I've got a piece of basic white and then this die right here. And then we've got a little sun that we can use, or a little circle that can act as a sun. So we'll just go ahead and run those 2 through. And the nice thing about this iceberg is that it cuts and embosses some lines, so it actually looks like an iceberg. And then the sun, it's just a plain circle, but that's all we need to represent the sun. And those can go away. And now the last thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our horizon so we have a little bit more depth to our card. And I'm going to take a piece of Coastal Cabana. This piece measures, I need a ruler, I believe it's 4.5 inches. Let me double check for you because I don't want to get this wrong. It's 4.5 inches by 2 inches. And I am just going to place this. This is just a squiggly line die. I'm just going to kind of place this up top right here like that. And we're going to cut just a horizon out of here. And hopefully it will match up somewhat close to what I did before because I kind of like the height. And if not, we can shorten this a little bit by giving myself 2 inches. I had a little bit of room for play. And I think I've got everything die cut that I need right now. So that's good. We'll put this die cutting machine away. All right, let us build our little scene. So I've got some little dust things moving around on my desk. Time to get out a duster. All right, this is a piece of Pool Party cardstock. It's 4.5 inches by 3.25 inches. And we're going to layer this Coastal Cabana piece on here. Let me see how close I got to my last size. Yeah, pretty good. So with 2 inches, take off a little bit off the top and you should get a pretty close horizon to what I had. And we're just going to adhere these 2 together. And I chose 2 colors that were a little bit monochromatic. So it's a very subtle difference, right? But it's perfect so that we just add a little bit of depth to the card because now it looks like there's water and sky. All right. Then we're going to take our iceberg. And there is a front and a back to this iceberg, so you just want to make sure you're putting the glue on the right side. So you want to make sure that detail is on the front. And I'm going to put this guy just a little bit closer to the right side than the left. Okay. And then the polar bear. We're going to attach the polar bear with dimensionals, but just let's get the polar bear on there so we can see where he is. And then the sun will go up in the top left corner. Like that. All right, we're going to add the bear with some dimensionals. I have to start a new sheet of dimensionals because I finished off a sheet last night. I'm going to put about 5 dimensionals on here just to support the bear. And I'm going to remove the backings. And then we'll just add him on here. And, you know, again, no coloring needed. That bear has got shading on it, and that's really all he needs. Okay, now we need to do a little thinking of you greeting. So I've got my basic gray again. I'm only using one ink color, which is kind of nice too. If you're collecting ink pads gradually, it's nice to, just have one bundle and one, ink color to get each month, and then eventually you'll have all of them. And I'm going to just stamp this pretty close to the edge right here. Okay, and look, I was a little crooked, but I'm cutting this out so it really doesn't matter because I'm going to make it hopefully so it's not crooked. So I'm just going to cut the top along the top and the bottom of this first, and then I'll cut really close to the T. Let's trim this a little bit, and then I'll cut really close to the U. And then I'm going to do right in between the thinking and the of you. All right, and then I just need to glue this down on here. I know where I want this already, so I'm just gonna go for it and stick it on here. But like say you didn't know where you wanted it yet, then just place it down before you glue it and just kind of decide where on your image or your focal point you want your greeting to go. I'm just going to add that right there. So cute. All right. Okay, we've got our focal point layer and it already looks great, huh? Okay, so next we're going to work with our card base, and this is Granite Gray cardstock, and 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it in half at the 4 1/4 inch mark. I took some neutrals paper, and neutrals has all the neutral shades in it, and one of them is Granite Gray. There's also Smoky Slate and Crumb Cake and all your neutral colors in here, and so it just has tone on tone patterns in it. Here it is. The neutral 6x6 pack, and down there's the item number 155226. And we usually have these neutrals papers each year, and they're just kind of a nice basic paper to have because tone on tone papers are probably the easiest papers to use because they just melt into the background, but they give the background a little depth. So I've cut 3 pieces, and these are all 1.5 inches by 4 inches. And I'm going to create these background panels, and they're going to be a little crooked. This is hard for me to do because I like things to be straight, but I'm keeping with the concept of the original card with crooked panels. So my topo's being a little stubborn. So the first one, I'm going to kind of angle out like here. I do have a little bit of control as well, even though this is crooked. I'm starting with the 2 outer panels. And I'm going to angle kind of both of them in a little bit. And then this one, you can just kind of angle a little bit in the center however you want it. It's tone on tone, so it's not gonna really be really glaring. You're not really gonna, if you have a tendency towards perfectionism like myself, it won't really show too much. Right now it kind of looks terrible, but let's not be picky. We're gonna add this on here, and then it's just gonna kind of melt into the background, right? So I actually need to grab some ribbon now before I add this layer. And guess what? Again, I'm going very neutral to melt the ribbon into the background. So it's just a nice little addition without being too loud. Okay, so I'm just kind of measuring around my card to see how much ribbon I need. This is the gray granite shimmer ribbon. So let's see, originally what I did is I tied it over on this side and then I shoved it over here. So I might just do the same thing because of the way the bow was tied and I liked it so much. So let me see if I tie my bow over on this side and then shove it over to that side if it works the same. So I'm going to do the first loop and then I will find my little locking tweezers and we're going to pin that knot down and then we'll tie this knot. All right, let that go. All right, I like that because now I'm going to scoop it over to this side because I kind of liked the way it was positioned, and I don't know how I would have done that on that side, but I know if I tied it like that, like I did the first time, it was going to turn out perfectly on this side. So I kind of want this to hit right down a little bit closer to the bottom than the top. It's going to be a little bit not quite at the center, just a little bit below the center. So that looks pretty good, I think, where I want it. And then I'll grab a few more dimensionals because I'm going to put this layer on with dimensionals. And I think about 6 dimensionals will work great to support this piece. It will also give you a chance, if you don't like where the ribbon is hitting after you finish attaching that layer. Oh, I still need my ink pad, so I won't close it up yet. If you don't like where your ribbon is hitting, you can move it up and down a little bit still because it's going to be anchored in between the 2 sets of dimensionals. All right. Make sure you put it on in the correct direction. And this layer is centered. So I'm just kind of eyeballing it to see that this layer is actually kind of centered. Make sure it is straight. I have crooked layers, but guess what? I want my middle layer to be straight. Okay, so pull this out now. Grab my scissors and we'll just finish off the front by angle cutting the little layers like that. So cute, right? And then for the inside, I've cut a piece to 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. I'm going to grab these 2 stamps. It's the little bear stamp and then the matching pairing greeting. Just make sure this is correct, and I'm going to stamp this down at the bottom. My heart is with you every step of the way. Such a nice greeting for the inside. And then the little bear is going to be just right on top of that. So perfect. Just a nice little greeting to put on the inside. And then we'll flip this open. Just add a tiny bit of Tombow. Okay. And then this should just center down here. And voila! There's the card. And I don't know, I like the colors. They're kind of sedate, and I think the polar bear would agree with the colors, that they're kind of nice winter sun sort of colors, a little muted, and I like the way it turned out. There are the two cards. What do you think? Are you going to join in this challenge? I hope you will. Let's come over here. All right. Hello, everyone, again. So I just wanted to mention, if you would like to make this card and you need the supplies to make it, you can click on over to my blog, and I have a supply list down at the bottom of the blog post with all the things that I used today. If you spend at least $15 with me, you can choose one of my free with purchase tutorials. And if you spend at least $50 with me, from me, you are going to get a package of these wonderful snowflakes. They are iridescent. And look, there's one of the snowflakes that I pulled out of the die cuts there in the back. So there it is. And you know, there's a little bit of this iridescent paper left over. So if you have a punch or an additional snowflake die, you can use that remaining iridescent paper to get yourself some more snowflakes, or, you know, just small little, it doesn't have to be snowflakes, but something iridescent you can still cut out with the leftover paper. So that's kind of a fun thing as well. And you've got 2 days left, well, till the September 30th, to earn celebration products from Stampin' Up. So for every $50 or $100 you spend, you get to earn one of the celebration reward products. And there are still lots of those products left. So if you're interested in placing an order, you need to get some supplies for your Christmas or holiday cards or projects. Get it now, because you're going to get rewarded from Stampin' Up, and you can get some snowflakes from me too. All right, let's have a look and see what you're saying. Good morning, Dee. Oh, Dee, you have a sunny and warm, hot Kansas or Missouri day, Kansas City day. We've got rain and thunder showers, and so it is not so nice here, but we managed to get our walk in this morning without rain, so that made me happy. Good morning, Miran and Mary. So nice to see you. Good morning, Ellie. Thank you for welcoming me back. You've also got some overcast skies. Mary says the slanted pieces make her go crazy. Well, you know what? If you don't like the slanted pieces, just put them on straight. It would be that easy. I will not require you to make a card with slanted pieces, Mary, if you don't like it. I'm just trying to get outside of my comfort zone. So trying to do it with a little bit of control, but I'm trying really hard to just like do some things a little differently. Good morning, Janine. I'm glad you're having a wonderful, gorgeous day. Good morning, Bev. Good morning, Karen. Ellie just had her knee replaced this week. Ellie's on my Bee Stampers team, as are a bunch of people on here today. Hello, Bee Stampers. And she just had her knee replaced. So I hope you're feeling starting to recover. I know it takes a few months to get back up to speed, and I hope you recover soon and you have bionic knees and are able to do all the things that you haven't been able to do. I hope it goes well. Dee says, so very cute. I really like the polar bears on the iceberg. The colors are just like the ice cap too. Oh, Dee had a really good question about the snowflakes. So these snowflakes are not, they don't have any adhesive on them. So you will have to use adhesive on them. Let me pull one out. So when I'm adhering these guys, I would probably use Tombow. And you know what you could do to make it easy for yourself? See that big hexagon in the center? you could stick a dimensional on there because it probably fits perfectly right on there. And you don't even have to worry about all of these other sides. Or if you don't want to use a dimensional, if you want it flat, really flat on your card, just put the glue right on that piece, and don't worry about the little snowflake edges. Just as long as it sticks on the card. You know, we don't always glue everything right to the edges. So, you know, the main thing is that you just get it on there. So I would just put it on that big spot right in the middle. It says, or it speaks to me and it says, place your adhesive right there on that big spot. So that is what I would do, definitely. So they are really pretty. My Dell light here today, I have two umbrella lights shining on me this morning. It is so dark here right now. It feels almost like it's night. So the iridescent, actually I think it's this side. No, that side. Maybe they're both sides are iridescent. It's just not picking up the light like the sunlight or the regular daylight would, but it does have an iridescent shine to it. So it's kind of fun. Well, everyone, I hope you hop on over to the Casing Tuesday Facebook group, and I want to see what cards you make. And if you're not ready to post your card over there yet, you know what? Why don't you go over there and look and see what else everyone is doing. We've got all levels on there. Don't feel like you have to create a masterpiece before you can post on there. You have to start somewhere. If I look back to where I started, when I started stamping, I'm trying to think. It's been almost 20 years, not quite 20 years, but it's been 20 years. And I'll look back to where I started. I wasn't stamping cards like I do now. Of course, we've got different supplies now too, but my cards were different back then. And if I look back with my eye right now, I probably would say, well, you know, the design and everything might not be up to my standards now. But there was a progression. I had to start somewhere. I had to start learning. I had to start watching other people. And don't be a perfectionist. I never would be on here doing videos for other people if I hadn't started posting. You know, you have to start somewhere and start to build up gradually. So share your designs with other people. Don't be scared. Let your light shine, and be happy about being creative, and share your designs with the world. And if anyone ever has anything negative to say, just brush it off, because art, I've seen some really interesting art that's very plain and boring in my mind, but everyone has a different idea of what art is to them, and not every art is going to speak to every person. So just let it go, and find your people, and find the people that are going to support you and love you and allow your art to shine and allow your art to grow. All right, guys, I will be back on Friday with another video for you. It will either be a fancy fold, fun type card, or I will be doing a 3D design. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I will be here, YouTube, Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great week until then. Bye-bye, everyone.